The love and hip-hop universe is in absolute shock tonight after a bombshell video leaked showing Kirk Frost in a situation no one ever expected to see again, caught up, cornered, and exposed with a cast member in a way that sent Rasheeda into one of the most heartbreaking emotional breakdowns ever captured on camera. Fans watched in disbelief as behind-the-scenes footage surfaced of Kirk getting way too comfortable with a woman he had no business being close to, whispering, touching, laughing like a man who forgot every lesson his past scandals should have taught him. And when Rasheeda found out, baby, the internet stopped. She didn't yell. She didn't throw anything. She didn't storm out. Instead, she collapsed in the most painful silent cry, a cry that broke millions of viewers' hearts and went instantly viral across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. People are calling this Kirk's final betrayal, Rasheeda's breaking point, and the moment that might finally end the Frost empire for good. And the worst part? This time, Rasheeda didn't defend him. She didn't explain anything away. She looked straight into the camera through tears and said just two chilling words, "I'm done." Long before this leaked footage sent social media into a frenzy, before Rasheeda's heartbreaking breakdown shattered the internet, and before Kirk Frost found himself once again at the center of a cheating scandal he swore he would never repeat, there was a storm quietly building inside their marriage. A storm years in the making, stitched together by old wounds, unhealed trauma, and a history of betrayal that never truly went away. For the longest time, Rasheeda tried to convince the world and herself that she had healed from everything Kirk put her through. The lies, the infidelity, the secret baby, the humiliation on national TV, the public dragging, the endless apologies. She stood by him when everyone told her to walk away. She rebuilt the Frost brand beside him. She defended him when fans called her weak. She tried to show loyalty, forgiveness, maturity, even when forgiveness asked more from her than it ever gave back. And Kirk, he promised everything would be different. He swore he would never disrespect her again. He played the role of a changed man, the devoted husband, the family leader, the businessman focused on building generational wealth. But deep down, those who knew them best could feel the strain. Rasheeda had been carrying the weight of their past on her shoulders alone, smiling for the cameras while patching up the private wounds that never fully healed. Fans noticed the shift, the forced smiles, the emotional moments on the show, the tension in scenes where she talked about trust. Meanwhile, Kirk began slipping back into old patterns, late-night meetings, unexplained absences, business trips that didn't add up, conversations he quickly shut down whenever Rasheeda walked into the room. She felt it, women always do, that subtle change in tone, that unfamiliar distance, that coldness in the way someone greets you after knowing your soul for 20 years. And the truth is, Rasheeda was tired. Tired of carrying a man who didn't realize how lucky he was. Tired of pretending everything was perfect for the sake of their family. Tired of explaining to the world why she stayed. Tired of trying to prove she wasn't foolish for loving him. She tried to focus on her businesses, her music, her children, but the emotional cracks in their marriage were widening every day. And meanwhile, the cast whispered, producers whispered, fans whispered. Rumors started bubbling about Kirk getting a little too friendly on set, a little too comfortable around certain women, acting like a man who forgot the pain he once caused. Rasheeda heard the whispers and tried to ignore them. She told herself he had changed. She told herself they were older now, wiser now. But something in her spirit told her the peace she built was about to be shattered. And then came the cast member, the one who always hugged Kirk a little too long, laughed a little too hard at his jokes, stayed behind after filming ended, and conveniently popped up at the same places Kirk was doing business. Rasheeda noticed. The cameras noticed. Even the fans noticed. But Rasheeda didn't want to accuse him without proof. She wanted to believe her husband. She wanted to protect the marriage she fought so hard to save. She wanted to protect her peace. But behind the scenes, she started breaking. The stress started showing in her eyes, the sadness in her interviews, the heaviness in every scene where she talked about loyalty, marriage, and trying to hold things together. And Kirk? Instead of being sensitive to her fears, he acted annoyed, dismissive, defensive. The textbook behavior of a man hiding something. He brushed off her questions. He minimized her feelings. He made her feel crazy for noticing what he was doing. The emotional distance grew wider. The silence between them became louder than any argument. And then, out of nowhere, the footage leaked. Footage of Kirk in a moment too intimate, too close, too inappropriate to explain away. A moment Rasheeda had prayed she would never see again. A moment that confirmed every fear she tried to push aside. And when she saw it, something inside her shattered, not just because he did it, but because she had believed in him. She had trusted him again. And this time, she had nothing left to fight with. No excuses, no explanations, no more strength to pretend everything was okay. Her breakdown wasn't drama. It was 20 years of pain finally breaking through her chest, forcing her to confront the truth she never wanted to face. Kirk Frost had betrayed her again. The moment the leaked footage hit the internet, everything Rasheeda had been holding together with hope, forgiveness, and pure emotional strength came crashing down in the most brutal way possible. Because this wasn't just a rumor, wasn't just a producer-edited scene, wasn't just messy cast gossip. This was raw, uncut, behind-the-scenes footage showing Kirk Frost in a moment that no married man should ever be caught in. Not after everything he put Rasheeda through, not after the secret baby, not after years of humiliation, not after promising her, in front of their kids, their fans, and God, that he was done with the games forever. The clip wasn't long, but it was long enough to destroy everything Rasheeda thought she rebuilt. It showed Kirk tucked away in a dimly lit production hallway, leaning in way too close to a Love and Hip Hop cast member. Not a random woman, not an extra, but someone Rasheeda worked with, filmed with, laughed with, someone she trusted, someone she never saw coming. In the video, Kirk was whispering into her ear, his hand on the small of her back, the cast member giggling as she brushed her hand across his chest. They weren't talking about business. They weren't discussing scenes. They weren't acting. This was chemistry. This was comfort. This was a man moving like he didn't have a wife at home, crying herself to sleep trying to trust him again. And then came the worst part, the line that broke everyone's heart when fans slowed down the audio and enhanced the clip. Kirk telling her, "Nah, don't worry. She ain't gonna find out." When Rasheeda saw that part, she didn't scream. She didn't throw the phone. She didn't run to social media. She quietly walked off set, locked herself in a bathroom, and collapsed in the corner sobbing. The kind of silent, shaking cry that comes from betrayal so deep it physically hurts. Crew members tried to knock. Producers begged her to come out, but she didn't move. Meanwhile, the cast member at the center of the scandal panicked, insisting it wasn't what it looked like, that the moment was taken out of context, that she and Kirk were just talking. But the footage said otherwise. The body language, the tone, the touches, everything. And then came the twist that made this scandal explode 10 times harder. This wasn't the only footage. According to production insiders, Kirk had been caught multiple times this season getting too friendly with the same cast member. hugging her when no cameras were supposed to be rolling, sharing rides, visiting her dressing room, sitting in his truck with her for privacy, and even being spotted at 2 separate Atlanta lounges on nights he told Rasheeda he was just working late. The footage leaked was only the clip that made it out. But producers had more, a lot more, and they had been sitting on it, unsure of whether to use it as a storyline because of the emotional weight it could put on Rasheeda, a woman the franchise respects too much to blindside. But the leak forced everything into the public. Fans were demanding answers. Cast members began whispering. Carly Red was in tears talking about how she knew something felt off. Spice allegedly told Rasheeda months ago to watch her man, and Ciara broke down saying she felt sick, that Rasheeda was going through this again. But the biggest shock came not from the cast, but from Kirk himself. When producers pulled him aside and showed him the viral clip, he didn't deny it. He didn't say it was fake. He didn't say it was edited. His face dropped, he covered his mouth, and he whispered, "Damn, who leaked that?" Not, "That didn't happen," just concern about who exposed him. That told producers everything. But what they didn't expect was the twist that came next. As they interviewed the cast member involved, she revealed that Kirk had been the one pursuing her. She said Kirk had been flirting first, texting first, complimenting first. She said he told her he was emotionally done with Rasheeda, that they barely talked anymore, that they were just business partners, and that Rasheeda wasn't giving him what he needed emotionally. The room went silent. Producers froze. Crew members gasped. And Rasheeda, who had been sitting outside the interview room listening through a cracked door, broke. She stormed inside, tears streaming, voice trembling, and confronted the cast member face to face, asking, "So you believed him? You believed he wasn't with me? You believed he wasn't my husband?" The cast member cried. She said Kirk made her think the marriage was already dead. She said she didn't want to hurt Rasheeda, and that's when Rasheeda snapped, not out of anger, but out of pure devastation. "He is the one who was supposed to protect me." She sank into a chair, shaking, whispering over and over, "I can't do this again," as crew members comforted her. And then the twist nobody expected dropped. Kirk wasn't embarrassed. He wasn't apologetic. He wasn't defensive. He was angry, but not at himself. He was angry at the cast member for talking too much, angry at the crew for letting the leak spread, and angry at producers for letting Rasheeda see this unedited. And in front of everyone, he said the one thing that made Rasheeda look at him like she didn't know him at all. "It wasn't even that serious." The room froze. Rasheeda stood up slowly, tears still falling. But now her face had changed. Something inside her had snapped, not in rage, but in clarity. She looked at Kirk, wiped her face, and said in a voice that shook the entire set, "You just ended this marriage." And with that, she walked away, leaving Kirk standing in the middle of the room with every camera pointed at him, exposed, guilty, and officially out of excuses. The moment Rasheeda walked out of that room, the entire Love and Hip Hop set froze like they were watching the end of a marriage unfold in real time. And what happened next sent the internet into a frenzy because Rasheeda didn't go home, didn't call Kirk, didn't check in with production. She vanished. Her phone went straight to voicemail. Her location was turned off, and even her closest friends like Candy and Toya had no idea where she went. Carly Red started crying, saying, "She ain't never done that before." Spice was pacing the hallway saying, "This man done pushed her too far." And Ciara kept repeating, "Rasheeda is not okay." Meanwhile, Kirk sat on a couch with his head in his hands, but not out of guilt, out of frustration that the scandal was blowing up faster than he could control it. Producers informed him that the footage had already leaked onto 3 major gossip pages, and Twitter was dragging him with millions of views in minutes, calling him Atlanta's most consistent cheater, the man who never learns, and Rasheeda's biggest enemy in her own marriage. But the escalation got even worse because while Kirk was panicking in his own selfish bubble, Rasheeda was sitting alone in her car several miles away, recording a private voice memo that would leak hours later, a voice memo where she sobbed uncontrollably and said she couldn't breathe, that she felt stupid for believing him again, and that she doesn't know who she is outside of being Kirk's wife. That audio leak exploded online, fans begging production to pull her from filming and demanding VH1 take action to protect her mental health. But just when everyone thought the emotional damage was the peak of the scandal, another twist dropped. The cast member involved wasn't the only one Kirk had been talking to. Another woman, a background stylist who worked on set but never appeared on camera, anonymously messaged a blog claiming Kirk had been flirting with her too, sending late-night messages, inviting her to dinner, and telling her, "Don't tell anyone I'm talking to you." She even dropped screenshots, and the timestamps matched the days he claimed he was in therapy working on his marriage. Fans went ballistic. They flooded Rasheeda's Instagram comments with, "Leave him. You deserve better. This man is addicted to cheating." And, "Rasheeda, please choose yourself." Meanwhile, Kirk doubled down, saying the messages were old, that the stylist was lying for clout, and that people were trying to make him look like the villain. But before he could spin anything, one more receipt dropped. A video from a club the cast filmed in weeks earlier where Kirk was caught whispering in yet another woman's ear, this time a bartender, and when she pulled back and laughed nervously, Kirk grabbed her hand and said, "I just want to talk, chill." Fans immediately recognized that this was the same night he told Rasheeda he was too depressed to go out and stayed in a hotel to get space. That video broke the internet. An entire hashtag, Free Rasheeda, started trending worldwide. But the tension at home grew even worse because Kirk began blowing up Rasheeda's phone, leaving messages that didn't sound like a man begging for forgiveness. They sounded like a man trying to manage a PR disaster. He said things like, "Why you letting blogs control the narrative? Come home so we can release a statement together." And, "You making this bigger than it is." Meanwhile, production reached out to Rasheeda with concern, urging her to come back so they could check on her, but she refused, saying she needed to think without everyone watching her fall apart. And just when fans thought she might stay quiet forever, Rasheeda finally surfaced. Not on Instagram, not on Love and Hip Hop cameras, but in a leaked Ring camera video from a friend's house, showing her crying so hard she could barely speak, saying, "I can't go back to that house, not right now." That clip went viral instantly. Fans could feel the pain in her voice, the confusion, the exhaustion, the heartbreak of a woman who kept forgiving a man who kept giving her new wounds. But then, a twist nobody expected dropped. Yandy called Rasheeda, and in that call, which also leaked online, Yandy told her, "Girl, you need to protect you. These men will embarrass you every time if you let them." That one message from another Love and Hip Hop wife broke fans even more because it was the first time a major cast member openly encouraged Rasheeda to pick herself over Kirk. At the same time, Kirk showed up at Rasheeda's boutique pressed, pounding on the locked door, begging staff to let him in, saying he needed to talk to his wife, but they refused, telling him, "She don't want to see you." The scene was caught on someone's phone, Kirk looking desperate but still refusing to admit guilt, yelling, "This is being blown out of proportion." And that was the moment fans turned completely against him. While Rasheeda was having an emotional breakdown, Kirk was more worried about saving his image than saving his marriage. The entire internet could feel it. And that's when the second major twist dropped. One that would flip this entire scandal upside down. The cast member who was involved with Kirk in the hallway, she went live on Instagram, and what she revealed sent the love and hip-hop universe into full meltdown. The moment the cast member hit the Go Live button on Instagram, thousands of viewers flooded in within seconds. Bloggers, fans, cast members, even people from production, because everyone knew this wasn't going to be a cute PR cleanup. This was a woman cornered, emotional, embarrassed, and ready to talk. Her voice was trembling, makeup smudged, eyes swollen from crying as she started the live with the sentence that made the entire internet hold its breath. "I'm not taking the fall for a grown man." And just like that, it began. She admitted she and Kirk had been talking, but said he initiated everything. She claimed he told her he and Rasheeda were basically roommates, that they weren't intimate anymore, and that they were only together because of business and the kids. She insisted he made her believe the marriage was already over, which is why she let her guard down. But then her voice cracked. She confessed she tried to stop things several times, that she told Kirk she didn't want to be part of anything messy. Yet, according to her, Kirk kept pushing the narrative that he was emotionally single. She said every time she tried to distance herself, he would show up on set, in her dressing area, touch her back, whisper in her ear, tell her, "Just chill, nobody's gonna find out." And then came the twist that rocked the entire franchise. She revealed she wasn't the only cast member Kirk had been flirting with. She was just the only one who got caught on camera. According to her, Kirk had been pursuing 2 other women on set, one a stylist and another a supporting cast member, both of whom had received similar messages from him. She said, "Kirk been outside. Y'all think I'm the problem?" I was just the one dumb enough to believe him. The internet exploded. Comments flew in. "Kirk is a serial cheater. Rasheeda run. Girl expose everything. And we been knew he wasn't changed." But the live wasn't done. She dropped the real bomb when she said, "Rasheeda, if you're watching, please know I never wanted to hurt you. But your husband lied to both of us." Fans erupted. Screenshots flooded Twitter within seconds. But the twist hit even harder when in the middle of the live, Rasheeda's name appeared at the top of the viewer list. She was watching. Chat flooded with comments like, "Rasheeda, please leave. Sis, we love you. You deserve peace. And don't go back." The cast member saw Rasheeda's name, froze, burst into tears, and ended the live abruptly. But the damage was already done. Within minutes, the clip was everywhere. Shade Room, Neighborhood Talk, Hollywood Unlocked, and the world knew the truth. That's when Rasheeda finally broke her silence. She didn't post a rant. She didn't attack the woman. She didn't defend Kirk. She posted a single black screen with one sentence, "You can't fix a man who doesn't want to be fixed." The internet shattered. Celebrities commented. Fans cried. Even seasoned Love and Hip Hop viewers said this was the most heartbreaking line in the franchise's history. Meanwhile, Kirk absolutely spiraled. According to production sources, he stormed around demanding the cast member be fired, insisting she lied to save her reputation. He even tried calling Rasheeda repeatedly, 15 missed calls, 8 long voicemails, countless texts, but she never answered. And then came the twist nobody expected. While Kirk was still trying to spin the story, producers revealed there was an unaired mic pack recording, one he didn't know existed, where he was caught talking to another male cast member, confirming everything. In the audio, he said, "Rasheeda ain't going nowhere. She always forgives me. It's just a little fun. She'll get over it." When producers played that audio for Rasheeda, she reportedly collapsed in tears. She told them she felt stupid, used, invisible, and done being the strong one. And that's when the final twist landed. Rasheeda packed a suitcase, left the Frost home, moved into another property she owns, and told producers she wanted the cameras to follow her now, not Kirk. And she said one sentence that will define the next chapter of this storyline. "This time, I'm choosing me." The moment Rasheeda walked out of the Frost house, everything shifted. Not just in the marriage, not just in the storyline, but in the entire love and hip-hop universe. Kirk didn't realize it at first. He thought she was cooling off, like she always did. He thought this was just another storm she'd eventually calm down from. But when he pulled up to the house later that night and saw her clothes missing, the lights off, her perfume gone from the dresser, that's when he finally understood this wasn't a tantrum. This was the end. Word spread fast. Production leaked that Kirk started calling everyone, cast members, producers, assistants, even Rasheeda's closest friends, begging for help. He wasn't angry anymore. He was panicked. Meanwhile, Rasheeda was somewhere quiet, hidden, unplugged, until she wasn't. Because just when fans thought she was grieving privately, Rasheeda popped up on Live with swollen eyes, a shaky voice, and a raw honesty she'd never shown before. She didn't bash the cast member. She didn't drag Kirk. She simply said, "People think I'm strong, but being strong every day is killing me." The comment section exploded into tears, prayers, and furious messages aimed at Kirk. But then, in the middle of the Live, Rasheeda paused, stared off camera, and whispered, "I shouldn't say this, but this wasn't the first time." The internet blew up instantly. What does that mean? How many times? With who? But Rasheeda stopped herself, shook her head, wiped her face, and ended the Live abruptly. Then the plot twisted again. A producer leaked that the cast member Kirk cheated with wasn't just any cast member. She was someone Rasheeda had personally vouched for, someone she defended, someone she put money into, a woman Rasheeda believed in. And that betrayal cut deeper than anything Kirk did. She wasn't just hurt. She felt humiliated, used, blindsided in her own circle. Fans rallied behind her more fiercely than ever before. But while all of that was happening, Kirk was spiraling into levels of desperation no one expected. According to people close to production, he pulled up to Rasheeda's private storefront in tears, real tears, begging to talk. She refused. He tried showing up at her Airbnb. Security removed him. He tried sending gifts. She returned every single one untouched. And that's when Kirk did the most chaotic thing he's done since the Jasmine scandal. He called a production meeting and said he was ready to clear the air with a confession. But what he confessed was not what anyone expected. Instead of admitting fault, Kirk tried to spin it again, claiming he had evidence. The cast member was trying to set him up, that she got flirty first, that she manipulated the footage. Producers weren't buying it. Fans weren't buying it. Rasheeda definitely wasn't buying it. And then, the final blow came. A crew member, someone who had nothing to gain, leaked a second mic pack recording of Kirk talking about Rasheeda behind her back. This time, he wasn't bragging. He was mocking. He said, "Rasheeda ain't leaving me. She invested too much. I'm her retirement plan." The audio hit the internet like a bomb. Fans went insane. It was trending across platforms in minutes. People demanded Rasheeda leave him for good. Celebs commented. Cast members chimed in. And Rasheeda heard it too. Sources say she played the audio 3 times, sat still, didn't cry, didn't scream, just stared at the wall. And then she made one phone call that changed everything. She called a lawyer. She wasn't asking about separation. She wasn't asking about marriage counseling. She asked one thing: what do I need to do to file first? And that's where the cliffhanger hits. Because right after that call, people saw Rasheeda walking into a private meeting with a new male cast member, one she had never been seen with before, one who hugged her a little too long, one who whispered something in her ear that made her smile for the first time in days. And as fans speculated whether she was finally moving on, cameras spotted Kirk sitting alone in his car outside their home, crying uncontrollably into his hands. And producers say his final line that night, caught on camera, was whispered through tears: "Please don't let her fall in love with someone else." And now that this entire situation has blown wide open, I want to hear from you. Because this story is far from over, and the way Rasheeda moves next could change everything. Do you think this is finally the moment she walks away for good? Do you think Kirk has pushed her past the point of no return? Or do you believe there's still a tiny chance that years of love, loyalty, and shared history might pull them back together? Because let's be real, we've watched Rasheeda forgive Kirk for things that would have destroyed most marriages, but this time feels different. This time feels final. And the way the internet is already choosing sides, the next chapter is going to be explosive. So drop your thoughts in the comments. What would you do if you were in Rasheeda's shoes? Would you stay? Would you leave? Or would you make him feel every ounce of the pain he caused? Make sure you hit that like button, tap subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next update. Because trust me, when the cast member speaks out, when Mendices responds, and when Rasheeda finally reveals her decision, it's going to shake the entire franchise to its core. This story is nowhere near done, and I promise you, the next twist is coming sooner than you think. Stay locked in, stay commenting, and I'll see you in the next video.